Have you ever noticed that subtle shift in the atmosphere when he enters the room? Or maybe you caught his glance in a crowded space, and for a brief moment, it felt like the world narrowed down to just the two of you. It's not about dramatic gestures or whispered promises. It's something quiet or something in his presence that feels distinctly different, especially when he's near you. What if I told you that the man whose silence or mixed signals sometimes confuse you might actually be more emotionally connected to you than even he realizes? Our most sincere feelings often don't come out in words. They show up in our posture, in glances, in the way we instinctively respond to certain people. Ancient wisdom tells us that our soul often recognizes connection long before our mind makes sense of it. When a man's deeper self senses a bond with yours, his actions may reveal truths he hasn't yet put into words. Too often, we wait for bold declarations or unmistakable signs and overlook the quiet, consistent ways someone starts to shift when you become important to them. In this video, I'll walk you through 7 subtle but unmistakable signs that his soul has chosen you. These signs aren't about perfect dates or polished words. They're about the real, unspoken ways his presence changes when something meaningful awakens in him. Pay close attention to each one. Because often, the most meaningful truths aren't loud. They show up quietly in everyday moments. And before we begin, take a moment to comment the word unspoken below. Do this for yourself, because giving that quiet feeling a name gives your heart the space to acknowledge what it may already know. If any of this resonates with you, type unspoken and let that small act invite clarity. The first sign is a shift in his body language. Watch how he physically carries himself around you. It's subtle, not dramatic, but noticeable. Maybe his shoulders ease or his stance softens. Perhaps he turns his body fully toward you in conversation, even in a group. You might catch him leaning in slightly when you speak or unconsciously mirroring your gestures. Why does this matter? Our bodies are honest. When someone feels genuinely at ease or drawn to another person, their body often reacts naturally. It's a quiet sign of trust and closeness. He likely doesn't even realize he's doing it, but his body might be saying, "I feel at ease here. I want to be closer." This isn't a game, it's a deep, instinctive response. His presence becomes more open, more grounded, more focused, specifically around you. How to recognize it. Watch his feet. Do they point toward you? Does his posture open when you speak? Does he mirror your pace or even your breathing when you're walking together? These subtle signals suggest a comfort and connection he may not even be consciously aware of. The second sign is the way his gaze lingers. This goes beyond normal eye contact. It's that extra pause when his eyes soften or hold you for just a second longer than expected, especially when he thinks you're not paying attention. Maybe you notice him watching from across the room, and when your eyes meet, he quickly looks away, maybe even with a slight blush. Why is this meaningful? Because the eyes reveal what words can't. When a man's heart is genuinely stirred, it shows in his gaze. There's no agenda, just a quiet depth, a subtle awe, a sense that something about you draws him in. He's not simply observing, he's absorbing. It's as though something within him recognizes a part of you that feels familiar or significant. How to recognize it. Pay attention to the moments when you catch him watching you quietly. Does his look feel different, softer, more intentional than the way he looks at others? That consistent, lingering gaze is his subconscious saying, "You hold my focus in a way no one else does." The third sign is in what he remembers. He begins to recall details you barely remember, sharing your childhood pet's name, a dream you once mentioned, your go-to coffee order, or a small wish you expressed in passing. These aren't grand memories. They're tiny, often overlooked pieces of your life that somehow stay with him. Why does this reveal so much? Because when someone truly cares, even subconsciously, their brain starts prioritizing anything related to that person. Your voice, your likes, your habits become part of his internal landscape. He isn't trying to remember to impress you. His mind is quietly reshaping itself around you. The details matter because you matter. How to recognize it. He might reference something you said weeks ago or surprise you with a thoughtful gesture based on a casual comment. Like, I found that old album by the band you mentioned, or didn't you say your cat's name is Fluffy? These moments aren't accidental. They read signs you've then moved from casual acquaintance to someone whose presence now holds deeper meaning in his life. This effortless recall of your unique little traits signals something meaningful. Your presence holds a lasting place in his mind. The fourth sign is the unspoken protector, his instinctive drive to keep you safe and at ease. This isn't about being possessive or overstepping boundaries. It's a subtle, natural reaction focused on your well-being. You might instinctively walk on the side of the street closest to traffic, guide you through a crowded room, or quietly worry whether you made it home safely or are dressed warmly enough. Why is this meaningful? When a genuine emotional connection forms, it often creates a deep sense of care and responsibility for the other person's comfort. This isn't a calculated move, it's a natural, caring reflex rooted in affection and concern. Even if he isn't aware he's doing it, his subconscious is stepping in to protect something deeply valued. This kind of thoughtful attention, without needing recognition or reward, shows that you become part of his emotional space, someone he instinctively wants to look after. How to recognize it? Does he naturally position himself between you and a source of discomfort? Does he notice the weather before you do and offer your coat? Does he stay alert in unfamiliar settings to ensure you're okay? These small, consistent actions, driven by quiet concern, are subtle, but powerful signs of emotional investment. The fifth sign is that his world begins to grow around yours. When a man feels truly connected, his perspective naturally starts to expand to include your interests. He might become curious about your hobbies, enjoy the music you like, or take interest in places you've mentioned things he previously paid no attention to. And he's not just going along, he truly wants to understand and engage. Why does this happen? Deep connection doesn't mean losing one's identity. It encourages growth. When he feels aligned with you, his inner boundaries begin to open. He wants to see and experience what brings you joy. It is not about pretending to like the same things. It is about discovering the value of sharing your world. It's his quiet way of saying your interests now matter to him too. How to recognize it? Does he ask specific questions about what you love doing? Suggest trying something you enjoy? Has he started listening to music you mentioned or watching a series you recommended? When he begins to naturally integrate your world into his, it's a strong sign that he's emotionally merging his life path with yours. The sixth sign, one of the most personal, is the mirror effect, how he behaves when he feels safe to be himself. Most people keep some part of themselves hidden, but when a man feels that deep bond, those walls begin to lower. He might show you his playful side, admit his doubts, reveal a hidden skill, or let you in on a more vulnerable part of himself. Around you, he begins to relax and just be. Why is this powerful? Feeling comfortable enough to be fully genuine reflects deep trust and connection. When he reveals his truest self, it means he sees you as someone who accepts him just as he is. He's not putting on a show. He's allowing you to know the real him. That kind of openness is rare and courageous, and it sends a quiet but clear message. With you, I can just be. How to recognize it? Does his sense of humor shift when he's around you, becoming more personal or quirky? Does he share thoughts or fears he keeps from others? Is he okay showing his tired, messy, or imperfect self? This quiet act of letting his guard down speaks volumes about how safe and accepted he feels. It's one of the clearest signs that he sees you as a true emotional home. And now, the seventh habit, the master key that ties all these signs together, his unconscious future vision. You're already part of his future often without him even realizing it. This isn't about grand promises or big declarations. It's in the way he naturally starts including you in his thoughts about what's ahead, even the little things. He might say, "You love this new place I found," or, "When I go to that concert next year, I need to tell you about it." These simple, spontaneous remarks show that you're not just part of his present, you're quietly becoming part of his long-term picture. He mentions future plans, trips, goals, or events, and without thinking twice, you're already part of the picture. He's not intentionally making promises. His mind is simply starting to include you as a steady, natural part of what's ahead. Why is this the most meaningful sign? Because our subconscious tends to place what we value most into our imagined future. If you're consistently present in his casual thoughts about what's to come, it means, deep down, he already sees you there. This isn't about strategy or persuasion. It's a genuine, unconscious reflection of what he truly wants. It reveals that he sees you not as someone passing through, but as a lasting and essential part of his life journey. How to recognize it? Pay attention to the small, almost offhand comments about the future where you're already included. These subtle lines are quiet signals from his inner world, showing that he instinctively sees you as someone who belongs, a steady presence on the path he envisions moving forward. These 7 signs, his changing body language, lingering eye contact, his memory for small details, the quiet protector instinct, his expanding interests, his emotional openness, and his unconscious future vision are all part of a deeper language. They communicate more clearly than words and more sincerely than grand gestures. If you've noticed even a few of these signs in someone, if your instincts are gently alerting you, if something inside you feels the truth of it, then it's worth paying attention. You're likely seeing a connection that goes beyond reason, a bond forming in the still, honest space where genuine love begins to grow. Which of these signs stood out most to you? Have you experienced any of them, either from someone else or even felt yourself offering them to someone?